personable. I find that I speak honestly to people. This is my first time doing an actual presentation here in our office, and I've been here 6 years. So I feel absolutely honored to be the first one that Christine is having for these master classes. And I remember when she said that she wanted to implement this in 2025, I almost felt like I was back in elementary school when the teacher asked you if you needed, if anyone can stay back and help, and I'd be like, me, right? So I'm absolutely honored to present here, especially on a topic that I absolutely love. So a little bit about me. I partnered up with my husband, Mike, and we actually formed Canavan Real Estate Group. He is the typical male real estate, not into social media. You rarely see his face. I always say now that I'm the face of Canavan Real Estate Group, but he's been a realtor since 2013. Wow. And then I jumped in 2019 after he said that he wanted to hire an assistant. I've got an HR background, and I thought, no. I am not being responsible for another human, and so forth. So I thought, you know what? Why don't I go for it? So I did. So at the time, it was easier than actually going for your realtor's license now. Yes. And so I did that, and I'll never forget, because the mob is extremely near and dear to my heart. I was going since 2018 to the meetings, and I wasn't a realtor yet. And a girlfriend of mine said, Mirella, just come. You know what? Why don't you just take people on the journey with you? And I thought, what a fabulous idea. So I'd be like, if, passed my first course and, and so forth. And so that's what I did. But what I was doing also was building those connections. And it's all about relationships. I don't care what you do, what product you sell, what service you offer. It is all about building those relationships. And in 2019, I got licensed. I wrote my last exam. I'll never forget, March 31st. It was a Sunday. That same week, we had a mob event. I met a girlfriend by the name of Trish Beasley, who's a photographer, and we went to Starbucks. And I thought, okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go for a coffee date. And I was doing coffee dates prior because I had a networking marketing business. And so she says to me, yeah, my husband and I are actually thinking of selling. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my license hasn't even come to Remax yet. The ink hasn't even dried. Like, how am I supposed to do this? And so I came home, and she was sending me MLS listings. And I thought, I'll never forget. I looked at Mike, and I'm like, Mike, how do I log into Treb? I have absolutely no idea. So the Toronto Real Estate Board. And so he says, okay, Mirella, you know what? I'll look them up for you and this and that. But prior to that, I said to him, we were in the laundry room, and I said, mark my words. Because another thing with personal development is that you learn limiting beliefs, like stick your ego in the garbage can and let it ride, right? And so I said to him, I'm gonna get a new client by the end of the month. And I said, and you know what? I'm gonna do an open house this weekend. And he just rolled his eyes like, yeah, okay, Mirella, like, sure, right? Because he had these limiting beliefs. And sure enough, met up with Trish. So within 2 weeks of being a realtor, without my license even coming in, because technically it was April the 5th, and I met her on April the 7th, I got my new client, my first client. Wow. And it's all through connection. So yes. I am so passionate about follow-up, and even if you just get one takeaway from today, for me, I feel like I've done my job, right? So, sure, do I help people that are obsessed on House Sigma and Realtor.ca? Yes, absolutely. My job is for you to go from being obsessed on those websites and stressed about either buying or selling your home to truly slowing down and believing in the process. We've got those marketing, listing presentations and buyer presentations and those kick-ass negotiation skills, but I'm passionate about the relationship that I build. It's all about being an extension to your family. And like I said, it really doesn't matter what product, what service you offer. You should feel that way with all your clients, with all your connections. So for me, I thought, what are we gonna do it on? Let's do it on mastering the art of follow-ups and turning those connections into clients. Like, let's face it, we're here to socialize, but we're also here to make money. We're here, like, that is, in the sense, kind of like the end goal, right? We want to get business, even if it's from one person, let's say, right? So alone, and there's so many quotes out there, but I thought, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. And that's so true. Here we are, 14 women here today. Like, let's collaborate, let's work together. Let's not feel that we're in competition with each other, but let's think of ourselves as our circle of influence, okay? So my objective, now I've got these notes because I truly do not want to miss anything of what I wanted to mention, but you'll discover the essential strategies, techniques, and styles of effective follow-up. So in this seminar, you'll also, I want to transform those leads into those loyal clients. So whether you're in real estate, you know, sales, or any industry where connections matter, this session will equip you with actionable tools to elevate your follow-up game. And that's what I want you to take out, right? We're gonna do some role playing today as well. I'm gonna break you up perhaps maybe with the person that's right beside you, just so that you can actually collaborate and see what works good for you, or what, you know, what doesn't work, what have you. So the different styles of follow-up and how to tailor them to your audience. You're gonna look at how to balance persistence without coming across as pushy. No one wants to have that salesy personality, right? And then there's proven systems and tools that I use personally to also stay organized. And real life examples where we're actually going to be doing some role playing, okay? So, share a memorable follow-up experience, good or bad. Does anyone have one that they would like to share in terms of follow-up?
I think we all have that experience of the cold DM, direct message or private message, where someone just, the worst one was, oh, I can see you need to lose some weight. Would you want to try my program? I'm like, what? Yeah, clearly they don't know anything. Maybe I do need to lose weight, but would that be the way you would start?
Yeah.
Do you know what's funny, Christine? Someone came into the clinic and she was overweight, but I wasn't going to ask what she would like to do. It's like, what would you like to change? Would you like to stop smoking, manage stress? And she said, no, it's about grief. I said, okay, you can fill in the managed stress form, but yes, never decide what people need. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone else? Good or bad? No? Oh,
I mean, I consider follow-up a little bit different than that altogether, right? I mean, to me, it's where a conversation has already been generated, you know, and so I followed up with a client yesterday, as a matter of fact, and as I was coming in here, she replied back, she goes, I would really like blah, 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 so, you know, we're chatting tonight.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, right, that I asked her if she had any questions in the follow-up, you know, that kind of thing, right? She did.
So how many of people are actually afraid of this? Of making phone calls? Show of hands. Everyone's comfortable? Oh,
It's yes and
used to
no.
be afraid
Sometimes,
of the phone.
yeah.
you used to be?
I used to look at it for hours, look at the number that I had to hit to call, but now I'm very comfortable.
Okay,
One call after another, I do it.
absolutely. So this is your best friend. It's my best friend, other than Mike and a few other people. So use it. I'll never forget 2019, here I am, a new realtor, and what happened in 2020? The C word, right? And I thought, holy smokes, how am I going to get people? How am I going to build my database? How am I going to meet people? I don't know really anyone that much. And at the time we didn't have a CRM. So what I used was an Excel spreadsheet. And what I did was I sent messages, and some of you, maybe only, maybe 2 people in here, maybe I have to get you on my follow-up list in terms of building those relationships, because a lot of you are also new. But what I would do during COVID, I would literally just send a Facebook message video. And I would say to them, hi Mo, it's Mirella. With everything that's going on right now, you know, all we need right now is connection. I'm really just, you know, messaging you just to see how you are doing. When you have a moment, let me know. I'd really like to know. And that was it. I have 100% open rate with all the videos that I sent through Facebook Messenger.
Videos or
Videos.
Videos, not text
Oh, she
messages.
does a video, I've experienced it.
Would you be more comfortable with, and what are your thoughts? And perhaps maybe you can also help each other out. So if you're thinking of the value added approach, how can you help that person that you're going to be partnered up with, in terms of what can you give them in terms of that value added approach, in terms of an article or what have you? Okay, so if we can just probably have a few minutes where we're just going to work together. Another thing too that I wanted to also mention too, if you are going to use your telephone, is Ford. So family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So Sue, how's your family doing? Oh my gosh, you know what? I just saw your Facebook post and it looks like you only have 4 more games of hockey left. Your son is growing so fast. How's that feeling? Blah, blah, blah. How's work going? How's your business or what have you, right? How can I help you grow your business?
You're hired.
Yeah. Pardon?
You're hired.
Yeah. So you know, relationships. Oh, so are you celebrating anything soon? You know, any anniversaries, what have you, right? So develop a
Yes.
relationship. And then dreams. Oh, so any travel plans this year? You know, what do you plan? Are you going away for March break? Are you thinking of doing something in the summer? Oh, wow, that's absolutely fantastic. Okay, Sue, you know what? That's great. You know what? When you go on that trip to PEI, let me know how that goes, because I'd really love to hear about it.
Put it on my bucket list. That would-
Right?
Yeah.
So
And then
on
you
your
go into your
form,
computer
on your form or your CRM or whatever, you're actually gonna write, okay, Sue went to PEI, you know, or is going, you know, or is going, or in, you know, so that when you end up connecting with Sue again in August or September, you're gonna say, so Sue, by the way, you
or
know,
before Sue leaves.
or yeah, you know, there's
You're
all
gonna say
exactly have a safe trip. So you just have to be creative. There's just so many different ways that you could actually approach people. But the Ford method is amazing as well.